the idea that you could have kept going in corporate America and, do some job and work really hard at it to get to your 40s, and then in your 40, then maybe get to some position.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool that you guys as a family are in my opinion, short-circuiting that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that this is going to be easy at all.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and all our franchise partners will always tell you, we always tell you that starting any business is going to be hard.
Correct.
But
100%.
so is corporate America.
Well, anything with the reward, like owning your own business, I think is going to be hard.
Welcome to another episode of We Are Amada, and I've got a treat for you today, which is the father and son duo, Mark and Jack Standring. I always want to say Stranding.
You and everybody else. There's an extra R that we get it all the time.
But you said it right.
What is Standring?
It is actually an English name from an area in England where the Queen's summer castle is, Sandringham. Yes.
Sandringham.
Yes, that's where Standring comes from, Sandring.
Love it. Mark and Jack Standring. And I love this father-son duo because they are the owners of Amada Senior Care in Swedesboro, New Jersey. And we get to hang out with these guys here at the annual conference for Amada Senior Care. We're in Orange County, California. And this is your very first Amada Conference.
Yes, it is.
And the other thing that I think is really cool too is that you've just signed with your very first client.
Yes.
And
last week.
I'd love to hear that story. But before we do, just give us a little bit about, Mark, your background, and then Jack, if you could go next. But I'd love folks to be able to understand a little bit about who you are, what were you doing or before Amada Senior Care, and also, I know it's a lot of questions, but just what got you guys to want to open a business together? I think it's so cool.
So, actually, I've had a wealth management, independent wealth management practice for 26 years. Many of the investment themes over the recent years are geared around the silver tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
The first baby boomer will turn 80 on January 1st. Actually, my mother-in-law is her birthday is January 1st.
No way.
So
She's the one.
and she will turn 80.
Yeah.
Yes, and so with that theme and kind of raising Jack with the entrepreneur in mind, we were really on the lookout for what was going to be the next venture, and believe it or not, by way of LinkedIn, you guys connected to me. And it was actually Tim's.
Oh, that's right.
Tim's guy that reached me one day. I was actually driving. I remember it was in January. I was having a bad day, but this guy was really good because he was coming at me from every angle, and I finally picked up. I'm sorry, his name's slipping my mind, but I almost chased him away because it just wasn't the right time for me. And he was so good, I say, because he turned me 180 degrees on that call, and by the time we hung up, we were like pals. And then and then of course we got introduced to Tim, and then we met you, and and then Jack and I got on the routine that felt like it was twice a week. We were doing Zoom calls at Teams calls at night. And we just kept getting further in, and doing what I've done for the last 26 years as a financial advisor. I'm skeptical about a lot of things. That's kind of what I have to.
So you have to be.
And I was skeptical from the very beginning, and I even told Tafa, I said, I'm still looking for the chinks in the armor. I haven't found them yet. And
cool.
When we came out for Amada U last month, our impression just continued to rise, and after spending 5 days here again, we're at a whole nother level, and it's all good.
Man, that's
an amazing
amazing
decision.
And so Jack, you have partnered with your dad to start this business. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I would say I'm a young, aspiring entrepreneur. Just like my dad said, I've been raised with the entrepreneurial spirit and pushing that I should be my own boss one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that to heart when I was young. I had a lawn care business. That was my first business.
No way.
And typical, like most kids,
Yeah.
just cutting lawns in the neighborhood.
I don't know how typical that is anymore.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. And I don't really remember what stopped, but I think it was just high school and sports.
Of course, yeah.
No, I know what stopped. He found somebody else I remember you had like 8 lawns he was doing. And so he gave it to somebody else and just took his cut.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then high school
Wow.
came into play. I worked in the restaurant industry.
Okay.
Learned that side of that business. And then I went to college, which I studied entrepreneurship and took that commitment to the next level.
That's cool.
And then after that, I opened my first serious business, I would say, which was an event production company.
Okay.
In Philadelphia, we would put on small hip hop and rap shows.
No way.
Yeah, and it all changed when COVID hit
Oh,
we
that's
could
right.
no longer have our events.
Yeah.
And I had a partner in that business. He was my childhood best friend.
Right.
And we transitioned everything into trucking. We did small box truck deliveries all over the country, long distance driving from city to city.
Were you guys doing the driving?
In the beginning, my partner, he committed to being kind of our full-time driver, and I was doing the back end work and booking.
Like what size trucks?
26-foot box trucks.
No way.
The biggest truck that you could drive without a CDL.
Like were you doing like cold storage stuff? Or?
All like palletized dry stuff.
Okay.
We would, we had a online platform where all of these shipments were, and it would have a phone number that you would call in and say, hey, I have a truck available. I could move your shipment for you for this amount of money, and they would say yes or no. And if they said yes, you pull up to their loading dock, they put on the freight, give you the address, and you drive.
So, okay, so how much of you, that you are very entrepreneurial. Your dad is you owned your own business from the time Jack was really born. You were in financial planning.
Actually, so I was actually with one of the big firms, Smith Barney, which became Morgan Stanley. And I actually joined way back in 1999 when Jack was born. I was interviewing with 2 different companies, Merrill Lynch and Smith Barney. And Smith Barney's, kind of draw was, we are the place for the entrepreneurial spirit. It's alive here, and that drew me in.
And it's kind of your own book of business.
It was, it was. They didn't give you any clients. You had to go out and get them all.
Wow.
And then I remember Jack and I were, as I'm preaching entrepreneurship to him, one day he said, well, wait a minute, Dad, you're still an employee. And I was like, oh, crap. I was like, he's right. And then my wheel started spinning. And I said, it's time to, live what I preach. And I went independent in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And I've had my own independent practice since then. And, I actually have 2 younger gentlemen working with me now, which gives me some freedom to, be able to expand and do some other and support Jack. I'm technically our chief financial officer, so I do all the finance and as much of the administration and help try and support and guide Jack, giving him his advice on the sales aspect of things.
And your wife, what's that?
You do assist me.
That's right.
I'm just an assistant.
And but your wife is involved too.
She is. She is also a partner, and she's actually an elementary school guidance counselor, approaching 25 years doing that. But for some time, the burnout was really hitting hard. Yeah. And just wondering what she was going to be ready to retire from that, but not retire.
She's seen a lot of change there, hasn't she?
Yes, she has.
Jeez.
Talk about from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And so again, we're looking, Jack and I, for his entrepreneurial venture. And then trying to think, what's my wife going to do in her next chapter? And then those 2 things kind of really met with this opportunity.
It all came together.
Man, that is this is not what this podcast is about, but we've been having this debate about Jack, you are how old now?
26.
26. And I think about the idea that you could have kept going in corporate America and, do some job and work really hard at it to get to your 40s, and then in your 40, then maybe get to some position.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool that you guys as a family are in my opinion, short-circuiting that. Mm-hmm. And it's not that this is going to be easy at all.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and all our franchise partners will always tell you, we always tell you that starting any business is going to be hard.
Correct.
But
100%.
so is corporate America.
Well, anything with the reward, like owning your own business, I think is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And we live in New Jersey, where we're the most densely populated state in the country, and people say, "Oh, New Jersey, isn't there a lot of competition there?" I go, of course, anything worth chasing, there's going to be a lot of competition, and that doesn't scare us. We have confidence in ourselves, so yeah, that's.
And Jack, I'd love to hear your story about your very first client, and I think it was really cool because I was asking you guys about this, and you said it happened just like Matt Smith said it was going to happen.
Correct.
And Matt Smith is our VP of Training and Support, and so everybody that comes from Amada University gets time with a lot of different people, and Matt Smith as well. So Matt said, here's how it's going to happen. So talk about, and give us timeline too, because you guys start your business, you get out there, you start marketing, you're also doing lead generation. Just walk us through what it took to get to that first client and what it was like.
Yeah. So I would say we signed we started this process in, I would say, April. And got the wheels moving then.
Yeah.
Licensing and insurance and all the administrative, legal, licensing stuff, and then
it could be a lot.
And then that was close to a full-time job.
And Amada, assisted us so great with laying the blueprint out of, like, this is what you do first, take the next step here, and this is the next thing you should check off. So we started that through the beginning of the summer in June, and then got our license into the state tail end of June.
Okay.
A couple weeks later, we were licensed, which was a surprise to us. And
that is
to
very
surprise
quick,
the
actually.
most. Yeah. In New Jersey, not most things come quick from the state.
That's
so
right.
this was a very pleasant experience for us, and we were so lucky.
Yeah.
So just continue to chug along and check off the setup stuff that Amada provided, and
I think the big thing was getting to Amada University.
Yeah.
Because after that, we felt like, all right, now we're ready to go.
So you came to Amada University when?
Second week of August. So
second week of August. So you have all the licensing, training at home.
Correct.
And then you come to Amada University second week of August. Okay. And then
at this point, that's a month ago that we were just out here going through that training process.
Yeah.
And like you said, that was when Matt took us through what it's going to be like to actually do this.
Yeah.
To be in the client's home, to talk to the client, how to talk to the client, the whole 9 yards. And leaving that room that day after Amada U, we felt so prepared with what Matt provided for us, and everybody else that was also there with us in that class. So we go home and continue the setup, and for us, Place for Mom was one of the places that they said to get set up with, and I identified that was going to be a good lead source for us for clients.
Right.
So I made it a priority to get set up, and I'm happy I did, because that's where this first lead came from, and it was Matt talked about it. He said, it's going to be times when you least expect it that this leads will come through, or calls will come through for service.
Right.
It'll be a Friday night at 7 o'clock and you're having dinner with your family.
And that was it.
That's when the call comes. And that's exactly how this played out.
It was Friday night, 7:30, you're having dinner.
Correct.
And the phone rings.
Yes. Phone, text, email, all from the portal of A Place for Mom. And I looked down and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's time! It's here."
That's when it got real.
Yeah, it gets real.
I was literally sitting there having dinner with my parents, and I said, "I got to do this now. I got strike while the iron's hot."
Yeah, that's right.
And again, Matt said this in our training, and this went through my mind as this was going on. My competition is clocked out, done for the day. They're not they're also not owners
So
of the
true.
business. They're
Yeah.
they're probably employees, so
Yeah.
they're at home doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And this
So,
is my show. So went ahead and did the call, and it was textbook for what Matt had prepared us for.
Wow.
And yeah, so we're all five of us, our family, were sitting there having dinner on Friday night, and Jack gets the call, and so to get away from the hubbub, he walked out back.
Yeah.
And we're all like, it's like we're looking in the fishbowl while he's walking around the backyard. You know, his hands are going. He's coming, and then he comes in, and we're like, well, and he goes, I got it. We got our first.
I don't like to talk like on important calls or business
Around
calls
everybody.
around
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people will be watching me and
Yeah.
judging. So
You want to focus on that
Correct.
call.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why I like
not
to
a time to multitask.
Yeah,
It's a
I
time
like
to
to
focus.
step outside, in a hallway somewhere where it's quiet and I can just do
Yeah.
me.
So the call comes in, and what was the need?
So it was the fiance or spouse of a senior citizen. She had dementia and Alzheimer's that was coming on, and her spouse was looking for care for
He was still working.
for her, and he works 6 days a week right now.
So he was still working. He was looking for care for his wife.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
she is at home
Yeah.
alone while he's at work, and things were starting to progress that they needed other eyes to make sure that
Yeah.
she was safe and taken care of. But I could hear the kind of pain in his voice of the emotions that he was going
Yeah.
through. And one of the things that Matt talked about is when these calls come in, they're in crisis.
Yeah.
It's usually they're not calling when things are good, and it's mostly because an event happened. So I kind of picked up on this, that this guy was in a hard situation. So I wanted to make sure that I conveyed to him that we were here to help, and that we were here as the solution to that pain and that kind of suffering that she's going through and he's also going through in that house together. So I was ready to go out there and meet him the next day, which was a Saturday. He had work, unfortunately, but he said, "Can you come Monday? That's my next free day." And that's exactly how it went. So,
Man, that is so cool.
yeah.
And then on Monday you went, and how many hours were they looking for?
So, and for me, I'll say I'm very lucky. He was a great first client for me. He was very nice, very accepting to the advice that I was providing, and he wasn't judging me for being a younger person.
That's
And,
cool.
Yeah, he really felt me being genuine. I could feel that in our conversation.
Yeah.
So it ended up being it's about 8 hours a week right now.
Okay.
It's companion care too. So there's not a lot of personal care that's needed right now, but we're starting the process of being able to help them in all different avenues in their household that they're going to need.
Yeah.
So.
And I think one of the reasons, I think most people, if you're getting into this business, you have a certain level of compassion, and I certainly know Jack has compassion, but to be able to put it in the framework that Matt laid out about where these people are going to be when they make that call to you, I think that made it a lot easier for Jack to be able to just pull it all together.
For sure.
And he said that he was he had talked to other care companies, but
interesting.
Jack was able to make him make him feel very comfortable. So
Correct.
So did you? A lot of times when folks call, they are in that crisis mode, and sometimes they're just wondering, well, what do you charge?
Yeah.
But did you find that it was more about the empathy and being able to just say, hey, we're here for you, let's get together?
Correct.
Or did you quote a rate, or what was that like?
And that's where I say, I got lucky. He was not pestering me with those questions
that's
on,
really cool.
on the phone. And again, one of the things that they talk about is to push for the intake meetings.
To go sit down with them.
Yeah, so you can be in front of that person face to face when you're having those harder conversations like pricing and things like that. That at the end, it's easier to get the sale and the conversion being in person rather than doing that
over the
off
phone.
a random phone call that came in.
And it's so surprising how rare that is in our industry. Most home care companies pick up that phone and they just want to get off the phone, right?
Yeah.
They just want to say, yeah, here's how much I charge. It basically saying, I've got something for you. Can you afford me?
Yeah.
Right? And are you going to give me the amount of hours I want?
Right.
Right? That's really what this industry is all about.
100%.
And I think that's why when you pick up and you have empathy, what's so funny is, as the brand new call, you landed this when other home care companies couldn't, not because you were the most expert of them, but you had the most empathy and human connection with this guy.
We were the most personable.
The most personable.
And like you said about how those other companies do handle these situations, we saw that firsthand with the setup when we did a competitive analysis call with Stella.
Yeah.
And we were able to call the people that are in our area, see how they're answering the phone, how they're talking to potential clients. And
Let's talk about that for a second. So one thing that we do when these guys are going through training, and so if you acquired Amada Senior Care, you go through this, we pose as clients and we call the local competitors. So what was that like?
Are we sure we want to put this on the internet? But
They'll never know.
But yeah, it was great seeing that firsthand. Should I talk about exactly how those calls?
Yeah, because
The tone?
sometimes I talk about a differentiation strategy with people, and I'm telling them, like, listen, I'm telling you, most of our competition, when they pick up that phone, it is just about the rate and the hours, and they want to get off the phone. And people are like, nah, man, it can't be. Like, why would you do that? But what was your experience?
Can I try and put it in some words? Because, when we were at Amada U towards the end, and, there was people from different sections of the country.
Uh-huh.
How much are you going to charge? How much you charge?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I don't know why we spent so much time, about it. But number one, having gone through those calls, okay, I have to assume, that gave Jack a lot of confidence to know what the probably what the other calls were like. You know what I mean? That gave us confidence.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, a couple of dollars an hour. It's not about the couple of dollars an hour. It's about, this gentleman needed to, weed out the people that he spoke to and decide who I'm going to give my trust to.
Totally.
And
Totally.
it wasn't about the $2 that we were thinking it was.
This is his wife.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
This isn't dog sitting.
Yes.
This is
a trust business.
Yeah.
It's a trust.
And
business.
all the calls that we did do, there was not one that we left like it was a trustworthy person on the other line.
Of when
that
you
phone.
did the ghost calls that we do, where we call the competition.
Yes.
It just feels.
Yeah. So.
Which is so weird.
Half of them
so
didn't
strange.
pick up the phone.
There's that.
That's
right?
the first
Didn't
hurdle.
pick up the phone.
You have to get them on the phone,
Yeah.
and then when to do it. Yeah. Hello. How many hours do you want? Or things like
Didn't even ask the person's name, their phone number, where they live. Can I get your address? And
nothing.
None of the, if you're in sales and you got a contact, there's just, you got to seize the opportunity to get, things that you need to get to the next level, and that wasn't
as crazy as that is countrywide. It's not New Jersey, it's not Texas, it's not California. Every single state, every city we call, was there one call where you're like, oh, that was pretty good?
Yeah, but I wasn't blown away. I was left with saying that I could do better than this and provide a better service for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like my dad said, when we got to Amada U, just like you just said, everybody had those same interactions with people on the phone. Doesn't matter if they were in California, if they were in Illinois, Florida, New Jersey. People all had negative experiences and said, we can provide a better service.
That experience was a big confidence builder,
For sure.
And it was really eye opening too, because you actually would expect it to be better than it actually was.
You would. So I'd love to ask you guys about you're here at the annual conference so early, and we have about 300 entrepreneurs here, which is really cool to see. As new to the Amada system, what has it been like to meet the other entrepreneurs? You're in New Jersey. We have a lot of businesses there. What has it been like to meet the other entrepreneurs of Amada, and have you found support? What is it like? And honestly, like what is that relationship like?
You want to start?
Well, it's been really great, and I actually think the other morning when we were leaving breakfast, I had a chance to catch up with Chad.
Yeah.
And
Chad is one of the founders of Amada Senior Care and currently the president. Yeah.
Yeah, and just was able to express to him, like, hey, this is a big deal for me. I'm bringing my son and handing it over to an organization.
Yeah.
And
that is,
I don't take that lightly. Mm-hmm. And the bar is high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only did the people here, the corporate people here with Amada, but all the other franchise owners just kind of echoed, the feeling, the willingness to help. Not one person didn't say, hey, if you need something, reach out to me.
Yeah.
Every single one. And that's a really good feeling. It's just, just very, quality people. And, when we were going through the screening process, we were wondering, is this part of just the, the sales pitch or whatever? But being on the other side now, I think that, it's real because you just don't, you just don't stumble on a good group of people like this.
Yeah.
That's by design.
We appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Jack, any thoughts?
So going back to when my dad and I spoke with Chad, I also relayed to him and let him know that he was very impactful on our discovery call that we had on Discovery Day. Speaking with him was over the mountains for me, and that really, I was ready to sign right then and there after that. And I shared that it's been a true community here at the conference. It's all like-minded individuals that want to be successful and want to make an impact in their community, and that's just so valuable.
Yeah, it's funny. I was remembering that you're talking about Chad. If you guys are going through the process eventually, maybe as you get to Discovery Day, Chad, our president, he does all of the Discovery Days.
Yeah.
Since 2012, there's probably been maybe a handful of Discovery Days that Chad didn't do. He's done them from Europe. He's done, he'll get on the phone and he'll do it. And I remember when we in 2012 when we decided that we wanted to start franchising, and I was a franchise guy, right? And I was just like you guys. Chad was my Amada. When I sat down with him and he went through what they did and how they do it and what they believe in, I had my own Discovery Day.
Yeah.
And I was done. I was like, dude, I want to be partners with this guy. I want whatever this guy is doing, I want to be involved in it. And Tafa then is the engine, right? Tafa is like the nose going into it, and you're just like, man, these guys. And I used to think, I wonder what's going to happen when these two guys fight, because they're 6'6", both, massive dudes, but it's never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, they argue, but I've never seen one. I don't know which one would win, but.
And to hear
massive individuals,
and we got to hear, what got them into this industry and their compassion for this.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter that they're huge individuals in size, but their hearts are also
their hearts are in it. Yeah.
And we got emotional with them that day,
yeah,
and they did too at the Discovery Day. And then
that's cool.
That's how we knew that this was real.
Yeah.
Well, we found our way here. Oh boy, this is caring for my wife's parents.
Yeah.
5.5 years of that.
Yeah, so that was the other little portion of how we got into this that we didn't get to share is while we were transitioning out, I was transitioning out of the trucking business. My mother's grandparents were getting to the age that they were needing care, and
they were declining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my mother was the primary kind of caregiver for them, and my dad would step in, and then it came down to me, and then I started spending time.
Wow.
So it was a family affair.
It was a family affair.
For sure.
And for probably the last 5 years, we have been taking care of them, and we learned firsthand that there was a need for something better out there. And that's really what pushed us to come out here and make a change.
Honestly, I saw a side of my wife I mean, she's tremendous, organized, all this, but it was like I saw a capacity that I didn't know existed. She went to a whole new level, and honestly, I don't know whether I'd be able to venture down this road if I didn't know she was there as another support.
And being young, this was eye-opening for me. This was a first-time experience of seeing senior citizens and my grandparents aging and going through that process. And I turned to my parents. I said, "Is this how every family has to go through? Is this everybody's experience?" And again, that was just motivation to do something.
Yeah, and make a difference.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for being a part of the Amada family, for trusting us, and I'm so excited to watch you guys grow your business. I can't wait. We will have to do this again in a year or two,
For sure.
and we'll do a side by side.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
And after this conference, I mean, we're more motivated and excited than ever to really get this thing rolling.
I love it. I appreciate it, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for one more episode of We Are Amada. Thank you for your time. And if you want to learn more about Amada Senior Care, just look us up. We're here for you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks
Thank
for
you very
having
much.
us.
All right.